Hi everyone, welcome to Bloom at the Yoga Garden. Thank you very much for joining me for the first class of the week again for the short version. And today we're looking at Vishuddha chakra. So this is the throat chakra, which is located sort of in the center here of your throat. Well, between this front bit and your spine. So we're going to begin by lying back and down. So get yourself nice and comfortable and lie back and down in Shavasana. So particularly today, check that you're not tucking your chin in too much. Equally, you don't want it to be sticking up too much like this up to the sky. So it'll depend on your anatomy really. Some people have very rounded shoulders or humpy backs, in which case you might be better putting a block or a brick or something underneath the back of your head, just to sort of bring your chin so it's parallel to the floor. And then draw your shoulders down towards their back pockets. Rotate your arms so the backs of the hands are on the floor. The heel of the right foot to the right edge of the mat, the heel of the left foot to the left edge of the mat. And just take a nice, long, slow, deep inhale. And a nice, long, slow, deep exhale. And literally just allow yourself to arrive on the mat. To be here now. Inhale, freshness, renewal. Exhale, softening, relaxing. So you've done the hard part today. You've got yourself here on your mat. You've set aside this time. So this is your time. So Vishuddha chakra is associated with space and with the colour turquoise. So I've tried to manage to get the right colour today, at least my top half. And we know that if we're feeling anxious or stressed, we incline to hunch our shoulders forward and tuck our chin in. So immediately you're closing off your throat chakra. So we want to keep our shoulders rolled back and down and just have a nice line here at the throat so that it's neither too open or too closed. And it's a very powerful chakra, and it actually allows all the other chakras to function in unison, because it's really important that we have all the chakras working together and spinning together. And it's affected, of course, by your throat, your neck, your shoulders, your whole shoulder girdle and your arms. And there's a little bone in there, the hyoid bone. And again, it is very much connected with the throat chakra. So when it's beautifully in balance, it brings harmony into your whole being. And of course, closely related to Anahata chakra. And when Anahata is open, Vishuddha communicates directly from your heart center and allows all that unconditional love to shine through, and that you can even speak it. So if it's blocked and closed, you stop operating in any kind of spiritual sense and just are operating through your senses. So if you want to, you could maybe repeat this little mantra. I choose to speak my truth openly and freely. Because naturally it's connected to our voice, and if it's blocked, we feel that we can't say what we think. We don't feel confident to speak out, to tell people what we think, to speak our truth. And equally, if there's too much energy there, we may come across as a bit overpowering, where we don't let other people speak, because it's not only about speaking, it's about communicating, and communicating is a two-way process where we have to be able to listen to people as well as talk to them. So continue just to follow your breath for another couple of rounds. And then we're going to do the breath that is associated with Vishuddha chakra. So we're going to do the Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, the victorious breath. And again, we have touched on this recently quite a bit, but particularly I often say close off. It's almost as if you're closing off when you go to swallow. And equally, another way of describing it is as if you're fogging up a mirror. So that's easy enough for the out breath, but it's much harder for the in breath. And I was reading an article yesterday, and he suggested that you imagine you're fogging up a mirror, facing the mirror, and then you try to fog up a mirror with the mirror behind you. And that immediately gets that sort of sensation that we're looking for on the in breath as well. So we'll try the fogging up the mirror facing us first of all. So we'll just take a big breath and go. And then we'll try fogging up the mirror on the in breath. So when you're ready, so take a normal breath, and then in your next in breath we'll go as if you're fogging up the mirror behind you. So it's a bit like a Darth Vader breath too. So we'll try it, and this time we're going to seal our lips lightly, and we do the breathing in and out through our nose. So just take one of your normal wonderful breaths, and then we'll start, and we'll go for 5 rounds. Don't let tension come into your shoulders as you do it. And I honestly think that the nicest way to think of it is like the sound of the waves coming in and out, because I find that helps me to relax more into it as well whenever I'm sitting doing it like this. Because you don't want, when you're fogging up your mirror, you're maybe trying too hard almost. So if you can just imagine you're at the sea and you're listening to the sea and you're just echoing the sound of the sea, it helps. But again, it's one of those breaths that takes a wee while to master, but once you do, you'll find you use it quite a lot, and it really does seem to give you that little bit of extra oomph, but it also helps you to relax that a wee bit more. Okay, so we've spent a few minutes getting settled, centering ourselves, getting ourselves in the right frame of mind for this morning's practice. So we're ready to begin the physical aspect. So as always, please listen to your own body. Have a wee stretch when I'm talking here, and don't do anything that you know doesn't suit you. Don't let your ego say, oh, I can do this, or I can hold this a little bit longer, because that is not what yoga's about. You're perfect the way you are. Yoga's just helping you to make you realize that you are perfect and what you can do is perfect. So remember that throughout your practice. So now I bring your knees in towards your chest, wrap your arms around them, and just a couple of little rocks from side to side. So as your knees go right, your head will go left. Knees left, head right. So already think about that area around your throat. So already we're activating it a little bit here. And then finish off, or make sure you're nice and you're leveled off. And then
we're going to take a big inhale here. And exhale, tuck your chin in and squeeze your knees in towards your nose. Inhale, release. Exhale, chin tucked in. Inhale, release. Exhale, chin tucked in. And then plant your knees on the floor. And we're just going to do another little bit of a warm-up that's really thinking about the Vishuddha chakra. So we're going to inhale, press into our feet, just lift the hips up a little bit, chin parallel to the ceiling. And exhale, hips down to the floor, knees in, chin in. Inhale, plant your feet, lift your hips, chin up towards the ceiling. So it's not really bridge pose, we're just having a little warm up here. Exhale, knees in, chin in. One more, plant your feet, inhale, chin up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knees in, chin in, and then plant your feet on the floor. And then from here we're just going to roll over onto one side and bring yourself up with your feet in front of you. We're going to drop the right thigh down onto the floor and bring your hands in behind your body. So you can have your hands facing forward, you can have them facing back, you can even have them out to the sides. It depends very much on your shoulders and your wrists, what way you want to have them. So we're going to do half tabletop. So we're going to be pressing strongly into the left thigh and lower leg and pressing into the front foot. And as we do that, we're going to try and keep our shoulders back, our heart center lifted, and press into that lower left leg as you lift up. Try and keep your shoulders back, and you're just looking up towards the ceiling. So don't allow your head to collapse back or anything. Just keep you looking up at the ceiling. So your chin and your throat should be nice and open. And exhale down. Press strongly into that right foot, lift your hips up, try and keep your shoulders rolling back, and exhale down. And then we'll swap sides. So right thigh down, right lower leg down, press into the left foot, take a big inhale, and press into the lower leg, lift up, and again, try not to let your head fling back or anything. And down. So half reverse tabletop. So quite strong in your wrists. So keep clawing into all the pads of the fingers, and that'll take the pressure off your wrists. And exhale down. We'll do one more. Press into the front foot. So you almost sort of swing your hips forward slightly to take some of the weight off your wrists. Exhale down. So you can repeat that if you wish, or maybe you'd like to try both feet. So again, maybe try changing your hands if you feel, I quite like my hands coming forward because I think it helps to keep my shoulders back, but we're all different. So have your hands wherever suits you. So if you feel more comfortable here, that's what you do. Okay, so take a big inhale. Bring your press into your feet, lift your hips towards your heels almost. Bring yourself up and just keep your head, just look up at the ceiling. So keep control of your head, don't let it flop away back. Lifting your hips up. Breathe, nice, flat, reverse tabletop. One more big inhale and exhale. Lower down. So we'll do one more, okay? So press strongly into your feet, lift up.
And exhale, lower down. And then from here, we're just going to cross our legs and come into Suitcase, an easy cross-legged. So sit on your brick or your block if you want to, or a rolled up blanket actually works beautifully too. Sit up nice and tall, feel your grounding into both sit bones, shift the flesh if you need to. Lift up from your heart center, chin parallel to the floor. And we're going to clasp our hands here. Bring your elbows in, or your lower arms in together, and bring your hands together here at your throat. And we're just going to inhale, and as we do so, we're going to open out our elbows and bring our hands up underneath our chin. And just bring your chin so that you're looking up at the ceiling. And then as you exhale, elbows come back together as your head comes down. Inhale. And exhale. So you're bowing your head the tiniest little bit when you come down in, and bring your elbows back towards each other. Last one. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then from here, we're going to take a mudra that is associated with Vishuddha chakra. So we're going to clasp our fingers the way we have, but this time we're going to bring the thumb of the right hand, thumb and forefinger of the right hand together, and the thumb and forefinger of the left hand together. Does that make sense? So your hands are clasped, but it's as if you're taking the mudra we normally would do with our hands up. You know, it's like this, except we have our hands clasped. And then we're going to just bring our hands to our throat chakra. And I did promise you some mantra. So we're just going to hum. We won't do anything too drastic. So the seed sound for Vishuddha chakra is hum. So we're just going to hum. So we do it on an exhale. So it's like this. Inhale. Inhale. One more. Inhale. Gently release your hands. So from here, we're just going to roll over into tabletop, ordinary tabletop. And again, we're going to be really aware of our breath and our throat chakra as we do this. So as we inhale, we're going to drop our tummy down towards the floor, bottom up towards the ceiling, lift your chin up that little bit, shoulders away from your ears, heart center forward. Exhale, tuck your tail, hollow out the front of your body, chin in towards your chest. Inhale. Really feel you're working into all those areas of your spine. And exhale. Round your chest. And then from here, you're going to keep the knees exactly where they are and begin to walk your hands forward. So we're going to do puppy pose, and if you know you find this difficult, have your brick ready and put it wherever you think your forehead's going to come to. And again, you take your hands out wider. So that's just about in the right place for me. You can take your hands out wider, makes it a little bit easier. Or you can bring your elbows down in a bit closer and bring your hands back behind your head like this. So several options there. You should be able to find one that'll suit you.
But if you're with me here, forehead to the floor, or the hardest one is chin to the floor. I wouldn't recommend this one unless you've done it before. It's very strong, but it's a good one for this particular chakra. So one more breath here, and then roll forward, slide your feet away and bring yourself down onto your tummy into Sphinx pose. So press into the tops of your feet, lift your front ribs up. So there should be no pinching here at all in your lower back. Lower arms parallel to each other and parallel to the floor. And again, the tiniest little bit of a stretch in the front of the neck, the throat. But there should, at the same time, you shouldn't be crunching back like this on your neck. So draw your shoulders away. Draw your heart center through. Press into the tops of your feet. Lift the front ribs and just notice how that feels. Lovely. And then if you want to work a bit hard, just stay here. You can tuck your toes under and bring yourself into forearm plank. So press the heels away. Press into the lower arms. Lift everything in the front body up towards the back body, same as you would in an ordinary plank. One more big inhale here. And exhale, lower yourself down. Take your arms down either side of your body and clasp your hands at your bottom. So forehead on the floor to begin with. Stretch away with both feet, shoulders drawing back and down. Take a big inhale. Lift head, nose, chin, chest off the floor. Press into the tops of your feet. Lift up. And exhale down. Take a breath here. And then draw your hands away. Inhale, lift up. Shoulders away. One more lift. And exhale down. So now if you want to, you can do the whole thing, lift your legs, nose, chin, chest, everything off the floor. Otherwise, just repeat, or maybe even just lift your legs. Okay, when you're ready, big inhale, lift everything up, shoulders rolling down, lifting up, reaching forward and back. One more lift, and exhale. Gently release. Bring your big toes to touch. Bring one cheek onto the floor. Have a little wobble about with your hips if you want. And then bring your hands in underneath your shoulders. Press into your toes and bring yourself back up and meet me in high kneeling. Okay, so well done. So we're pressing into the tops of our feet, knees about hip width apart, shoulders rolling back and down, and take your shoulders back, bring your arms back, and just use your thumbs, or you can bring all of your hands if you like, and use that to support your back. So we're going to do a prep for Camel Pose. So we're pressing firmly into the back, so it's like a little support for your back. And then inhale, lift all of your ribs up away from the pelvic bowl. So lifting up on the inhale, and then if you want to, as you exhale, you can begin to go into the tiniest little bit of a back bend, but only if you want to. So again, just keep looking up at the ceiling. So we don't want a big throwback on our neck. Chin looking up towards the ceiling. Elbows back and in. Tuck your elbows in if you can. One more breath here, and then
gently bring yourself back and maybe allow your chin to tuck in a little bit. Now you can either repeat that, or if Camel Pose or Dandasana is in your practice, feel free to do the full pose. So one more time, take a big inhale, feel you're lifting up and use this support that you've got here to get length, because if you've got length you can fold back without any pain or pinching. There should never be pain or pinching in this. So just go as far as is right for you, tuck your shoulders in, and then maybe you'll reach back and you might be able to find your toes, one toe. Maybe you'll reach back and find the other toe. And of course you can tuck your toes under, which immediately makes it easier. They come a bit closer. So your choice. But wherever you are, you'll go back a bit when you go to find your toes, but keep pressing your hips forward. Lifting your hips, pressing them forward, lifting your heart center rather, pressing your hips forward. One more big inhale here. You can let your head go back if you want to. I prefer to keep looking at the ceiling. One more breath. Wherever you are, nice and slowly, bring yourself forward. Sit your heels down onto your, or your bottom down onto your heels. That's a good one, sit your heels down. And make a little rest, chin rest with your hands. And then maybe make a couple of fists and come down into child's pose, just briefly. One more breath here. And then walk your hands back, take your knees out quite wide, big toes to touch, and sit yourself back on your heels. And from here, we're going to turn, so you can come forward to do this to begin with. Turn one hand round and turn the other hand round. And maybe you feel you need to stay up here, or maybe you'll be able to bring your hands back and sit down on your heels. But if you're here, that's fine. But this is quite a stretch up the back of the wrist, but it is a nice wrist toner as well. So we're going to do lion's breath. So shoulders drawing away. So lion's breath is where we stick our tongue out and on the exhale and look up towards your third eye. So you're nobody to see. Don't worry if you feel silly, but it's again another good energizing and releasing one. So big inhale, tongue out, eyes open. Big inhale, tongue out. Don't worry how silly it seems. Big inhale. And then nice and gently, bring your hands back. Swing your legs to one side, and this is where you're going to need a brick if you have one, or a rolled up blanket. A brick is actually ideal. So we're going to do supported shoulder stand. So lower yourself down nice and slowly, and press into your feet, lift your hips up and put your brick underneath your sacrum. So that's sort of low down, really at the very bottom of your spine. Okay, get yourself comfortable. So keep one leg on the floor and begin to lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Maybe point your toes and see how that feels. And it is amazingly easy to lift your legs up, I think, when you've got that wee bit of support. And then lower that leg down. Other side, pressing the right foot. Left leg up, point your toes. So you shouldn't feel that you can't breathe here, that's what I'm trying to say. Because everything is, your shoulders are coming back, but keep your chin pointing up towards the ceiling. And now we'll try both feet
So bring your knees in first, straighten them up. Chin parallel to the ceiling. And again, you can do this up against a wall if you prefer. And it is really, really relaxing when you do it up against the wall. So just allow the whole weight of your body to be supported by your mat. Feel the weight, feel the whole of the thighs, the legs, heavy in your pelvis. I should have mentioned if you're having your period, this isn't recommended, but I know a lot of people feel that's irrelevant. Now, you can just stay here, or if you want to, and if it's in your practice, now I'm stressing this, if you haven't done this in class with a teacher, I wouldn't suggest you do this next bit at all. But we can come into plough pose. So if you want to do that, you just bring your legs on over behind and touch the floor. But if you haven't done it in class, I wouldn't recommend you do it now, okay? And just to be very careful of your neck. You don't want to move your neck when you're in either of these positions. You want to keep nice and still. And then gently bring your knees in towards your chest. And then plant them down on the floor. Press into your feet. Take away your support. And then roll onto one side and bring yourself up into Dandasana. So lift the flesh of your sit bones, one wee twist to finish. We're going to bring the right leg in. You can step it over the left leg if you want, or just keep it here, your choice. And then we're going to hug it with the left hand and arm. Bring your right hand in close behind. Maybe you'll be able to stop the traffic. Press up in and lift up. So try not to lean back. Lift tummy, mid-chest, upper chest. Maybe look over your right shoulder. Keep working into the heel of the left foot and leg. And gently release. Bring yourself back to center. Other side. Same thing, left leg in. Plant your right foot over. So keep your left leg here if that's where you are. Hug it with your right arm, left arm in close behind. Press into your left hand, lift up, tummy, mid-chest, upper chest, and turn and look over the left shoulder. One more breath here. And gently bring yourself back to center and bring yourself into easy cross legs. So sit on your block or your blanket, whatever you happen to have. Shift the flesh from your sit bones, sit up nice and tall. And just bring your right hand or your left hand onto your throat center and your left hand onto your heart. And just breathe in between the two. Feel the energy from Vishuddha chakra and the energy from Anahata getting together. Allowing a sense of openness, of love. I speak my truth openly and freely. Nice long slow inhales and soft nourishing your softening inhales. Feel
you're really grinding into the floor. Inhaling right up through all of those chakras we've talked about, right up from your sit bones, right up to your throat, and then the exhale, feel everything reversing. Now, bring your hands together at your heart center. So press the baby fingers together and allow the rest of your hands just to open out. And again, move them up towards your throat chakra. And feel that sense of openness there. And then bring your hands together. So thank you so much for joining me for this practice this morning. I really appreciate your company and enjoy whatever you've planned for the rest of your day or your evening. Thank you so much. Namaste.